Thanks to the supporters of channel member Delta Papa Juliet. Well, we've got ourselves into a little bit of a pickle where we potentially are going to have a little bit of a gamble. Behind on FFP, we've had our budgets slashed because we overspent it in the summer. Even though we operated at a transfer profit, still classed as overspending. We're supposed to be a selling club and we didn't do selling club things. But we are in a promotion race for the Premier League and with a very real chance of promotion this season. So as we enter the January transfer window, the decision is, do we roll the dice, gamble, leave things as they are and hope we get promoted, at which point money's not a problem? Or are we sensible, balance the books now because we probably won't get promoted? I think we all know which way I'm most likely to go. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 8 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have almost a top-of-the-table clash. We're home against top-of-the-league Wolves. We're down in 5th. But if we beat them, we're within 3 points of them and potentially moving into an automatic promotion spot of our own. We're also away against Norwich, who are challenging for the playoffs as well. And since you were last with me, form has been pretty good. Just the odd defeat here and there, scattered throughout a sea of green, and the teams we've lost to have generally been the better teams as well. And we've done all of this without Keating, who signed a contract extension, got appointed vice captain, then immediately got himself injured and was out injured for 6 weeks. So he's only just recovering from that injury to the point where he can come back into the team today, hopefully. He's had a little substitute appearance. He's done a little bit of light training, but yeah, we've been without him for a little while. So getting him back will be an absolute pleasure. But the board have cut my budgets down. We just need to move some of that in there to cover Keating's new contract. We did have £5 million sat there to spend last episode. It was cut down to 0. We've got a little bit of that back again, and I don't really know how, because we've not sold anybody yet, although we are potentially on the verge of selling Max Allain in the steal of the century, because we've had 2 offers of £10.25 million for a guy we signed on a free transfer a year ago and have barely played this year. That £10 million sets us up for a Premier League push. If that goes through, forget this. Forget the fact that this is flicking back and forth between red and green almost on a daily basis. We're right on the cusp of failing FFP. If we get £10 million in, we're going to go and spend 30 and we're going to the Premier League. I think that's reasonable. But for now, let's go beat Wolves, because if we lose against Wolves, getting to the Premier League becomes a little bit harder because it becomes clear there are a number of teams in the league better than us. So this is quite the important one where it would be nice to pick up a win. And we're going with Travers in goal, a back four of Amrouche, McKellar, De Winter and Donnelly. Irogbenum, I think we decided, we've got so many names I can't say. So we've got Tim. We've got Tim and Sergio, and what's the other guy's first name? Tim. See, his first name's no easier. Do I look Spanish to you? We've got Irogbenum at the base of midfield, because Eccles has picked up an injury. He's been pretty much ever present there, but he's now sprained his knee ligaments. We're never going to be allowed to play our first choice midfield. So he comes in for Eccles just as Keating comes back into the team. He'll partner Osborne in the middle. Keating can only do 75 minutes today. Then we've got Mason Clark on the left, Illing on the right, and Dane Scarlett up front. Scarlett is the top scorer in the Championship this season. 17 goals from 21 appearances. You can see he is clear of one of my other former boys, Adam Eder. He'd be my backup. If I couldn't get Scarlett, we'd go for Eder. They're 2 proven Championship goal scorers who, across multiple versions of Football Manager over the last 3 or 4 years, have both been incredibly consistent goal scorers at Championship level. There's just something about the way those 2 boys hit the match engine, at least at Championship level. It's sometimes a struggle to get them to perform in the Premier League, but certainly at this level, they are pretty much guaranteed 30 goal a season strikers, and they have been forever. It'll be interesting to see if in FM25 they continue being quite as dangerous as they have been in pretty much everything from like FM20 onwards. But we've had a decent early chance. It was with Scarlett. He strangely not able to get a proper contact on it when he's been so prolific all season long, but we're now trying with one of our patented long-ish throws. It falls to Keating on the edge of the area and it comes back off the crossbar, I think. But that would have been a nice, I mean, this is Keating's first start for us as official vice captain of the club. Mason Clark is our club captain once he moves on, and he's 30 years old now, so he's probably done at the end of this season, whether we stay in this league or get promoted. So it's likely to be start of next season that Keating takes over as club captain, even though he still is only 21 years old. But he's my boy, and I'm determined to make him into the greatest player in the history of Coventry City. What a goal for Milling. Talking of great players for Coventry City, that is a stupendous goal. Let's look at this one from the other angle. Osborne drifts out wide. Scarlett couldn't quite get to it, but Keating's there to flick it onto Milling, who takes one touch, and that's why you play a left footer on the right-hand side, because you don't get that when he's playing on the left as an actual winger. But have him playing that little bit more tucked in and able to hit that kind of shot on his strong foot. Oh, I like this front three that we've got. That's lovely work from De Winter, and I don't know how Scarlett's missed. Top scorer in the Championship, and he's basically got an open goal there, and it ends up sailing over the crossbar. He's had two good opportunities early on in this game, and we have started this match very, very strongly. We have been all over Wolves. We could be 2 or 3 up, and the fact that it's only 1 probably should set off an alarm bell, because Wolves aren't going to let us do this to them all game long. They are going to get into this match at some point. They're top of the league. They're a good side. But if we can grab another one while we're dominating, we put ourselves in a very, very strong position to really properly insert ourselves into the title race. Never mind the playoffs. We're looking at the title. I mean, brilliant. I'm trying to do my speech about the title race, and they're already getting a goal back. The equaliser is there. It's basically their first chance of the game as well. It's almost the opposite of what we've done. We've had 3 or 4 really good chances and only scored one of them. They've had a half chance and scored it. And I guess that's the difference between us and them. Look at the state of that. 4 shots on target, 7 shots overall. They've had 1 shot and it only had a 0.17 XG. We are, despite spending all the money that we spent on defenders, we are still so iffy at the back. We're the 2 teams in the league with the best goal difference, but certainly from our point of view, that's because we score so many goals. We do concede more goals than we should as well. I mean, it's the nature of how we play with the wing backs pushing on, and we basically play a back 2 when we're attacking, which it's not really conducive to keeping clean sheets, but we shouldn't be giving away goals like the one we've just conceded. And what I would very much like to do around about now would be to go back into the lead in this game, because this leaves us 6 points behind Wolves, 5 points behind Burnley. That's not ideal. We want to be properly injecting ourselves into the title race so that I can be justified in spending money and rolling the dice. If we bottle these next couple of matches against the better teams in the league, we will seriously have to start thinking in terms of maybe we're not going to get promoted. Maybe we need to make sure we balance the books, because if we fail FFP, it's a transfer embargo, and we don't want to go into next. We don't want to narrowly miss out on promotion this year, but then go into next year on a transfer embargo. That won't then that might delay us a little bit. So if we stay in this league, we do need to balance the books. It's the complications of being in the Championship. Right, we're making our final couple of changes. Some attacking options coming on, and Wolves have still only had 2 shots in the entire match. We are frustrated looking at those match stats. We've been comfortably the better team, but Scarlett was wasteful early on, and he didn't really get a chance after then. And now with Bonner up front, the front three is a lot less threatening when you've got Bonner in there instead of Scarlett. And I guess 1-1, it's fine, but it's not a good result. And does make me question again how we perform against the best teams in the league. Burnley, 2nd in the league, Sheffield United, a 4th. When we come up against the teams that are good, Leicester being the exception, I guess, but when we play against the good teams, we do drop points. I don't know that we can reasonably expect automatic promotion this year. And you know what I'm like in the playoffs. So it does become more of a gamble off the back of that result. We need a big win against Norwich to make me feel better. Allow me to go and spend some money in January. Well, this is a situation I wasn't necessarily anticipating. A big offer for Dane Scarlett, and he wants to go. Now, I say a big offer. It's an offer underneath his value. So I think we can probably turn this one down. We spent £7 million on him, and he's the top scorer in the league. We expect to at least treble our money on him. So I think we can probably persuade him to stay and at the very least agree a decent price. Let's agree a cent. See, this is more like it. Let's say 40 million. 29. No, let's say 35 million. Right, we'll agree on 30. If they give us 30.5 million, you can go with my blessing. There we go. But we do need to be aware that there are big clubs circling. So Scarlett might not see out the window, which means we need a replacement to be scouted, because we're not going to get promoted if we have to have Bonner up front. I mean, do we just go to Adam Eder? We were talking about it before. He's right there. We'll see. Right, just the one change for the Norwich game then. Aguier comes back in on the right-hand side, so Illing does have to move over to the left, even after my little speech about how great he is from the right-hand side. We've got too many players who all want to play in the same position. We have to occasionally get a left footer on the left or a right footer on the right. It's very upsetting. I mean, we could easily play them the other way around. They're both comfortable playing the other way, but we are certainly open to offers for Ephraim Mason-Clark. We've got another winger potentially lined up to come in this window. If Mason-Clark would like to move on at 30 years old, this is probably the ideal time. Yes, he's our club captain, but he's a player who's already slowly drifting towards being a rotation option, because we've got these two as options. Like I say, potentially somebody else on their way in. And I mean, if we can get 10 million for him, we've already potentially got 10 million for Elaine. And there is Dane Scarlett. He's not missing his chances today. Fluffed his lines against Wolves in the last match, but he is back to his prolific best today, trying to impress Eintracht Frankfurt, clearly. Now he knows he's a £30 million player. He's going to, I mean, that's so poor from Norwich. I don't really know what their goalkeeper's doing there, but we had a nice time with it. So that's the important thing, I guess. The other advantage of Mason-Clark not starting is Joey Keating gets to be captain today, getting his practice in for the rest of his career. Coventry forever, that boy, in the Premier League as well. He'll captain Coventry in the Premier League for 10 years. Scarlett is in again, and this time Gunn in goal for Norwich, pushes it wide of the post. But all that does is sets us up for a corner, and you know we're good at set pieces. It's going to be Illing to hit the in, swinger looking for that far post where Gozzi was lurking, but the Norwich keeper, after messing up so spectacularly for our goal, has pulled off a couple of good saves and collects that corner quite comfortably as well. This is fancy business from Norwich. They've got two wide centre-backs, a complete wing-back. They are going to be filling those wide areas up. And Gozzi, he's good at that, isn't he? He's not scored a gazillion goals. He's actually seems to be turning it on more in the episodes, just so you lot can continue telling me I'm a set-piece merchant. He doesn't do it as much in between episodes, but he is very effective at it. And now Donnelly, who, by the way, Donnelly's been a revelation, still only 19 years old, cost us less than £2 million from Salford. What a finish from Scarlett. He does 10 out of 10, Donnelly I'm talking about, does 10 out of 10 on his training every week. He is going to be a star. He's already come straight in and he's a nailed on starter as a teenager. We're going with youth and it's working so far. Can't believe Scarlett's goal was disallowed. Sometimes if you hit the ball as cleanly as he did, you don't worry about offside, just give it. It was so good, you kind of have to just give it. Right, Boateng plays it back to Donnelly. Deep cross from him. Illing is there and he can do it from either wing. That's the benefit of playing a left footer on the left. When it falls to him like that, he can hit it first time on his strong foot. And he'll just score from it. We don't need Mason-Clark anymore. Illing's great. Boateng is great. We've got some very good attacking play. What a finish. I mean, it's a poor missed header from the Norwich defender. But it's a lovely finish from Illing. And that's us 3-0 up before half-time. And only 4 points behind Wolves. So they're dropping some points, as are Burnley. So we are injecting ourselves into this title race. Not pulling away as much of a gap from 7th place as I hope you would. Still only 2 points clear of Millwall. But we are closing in. We are closing in on the title. We don't want the playoffs. The playoffs are for nerds. We want to go up automatically. And Norwich, trying to spoil my fun at the start of this second half. I mean, that's such an easy goal. Offside, referee, maybe? Looked offside to me. Certainly, we didn't have anybody defending, which is alarming. I mean, this was just easy. He's between our centre-back and our full-back, and no one's picked him up. It's a free header, basically on the penalty spot. That's just terrible defending. That is a perfect example of us opening the door to let a team back into a football match. Right, Wolves have equalised against Watford. And they were losing. Keating playing it across to Boateng. Surely it's 4. It is. And it's a yet another assist for Joey Keating, who is just an assist machine. Wolves are now ahead against Watford. They've turned things around very quickly at the start of the second half. So that's going to be back to a 6-point gap now. But at least we're going to come away with a win so that we don't let them pull away from us any further than they already have. Burnley in second are looking catchable. They're only 3 points ahead of us currently, so I guess they're dropping points today as well. Did Travers make the save there? Or was that, I think that was just the crossbar. It's gone behind for a goal kick. What's going on with Burnley? Burnley drawing at home against West Brom, so that's second against third. So whatever outcome that match has is a benefit for us. They can't both win today, which is a good thing. Right, Amrouche is going to come off. It might be Elaine's final appearance for the club. I hope he doesn't get injured because it will cost us £10 million if he does. And then we'll take off Keating because he is still returning from his injury. So we don't want to risk breaking him. Right, Illing swings it into that far post and it ends up falling to Rodoni, who plays it back in towards one of my Spanish boys whose names I can't say. And then Illing on the right-hand side now, trying for a penalty and then trying for a cross. Neither of them really came off. And it's back with Donnelly, who tries to deliver it back to Illing again, but he can't get hold of it properly. And now Norwich going for a counter-attack, and our centre-back has been pulled out of position there. De Winter, £22.5 million, easily pulled out of position. And now the complete wing-back for Norwich, causing us a few problems on our left-hand side, where, of course, we are playing our fourth-choice centre-back at left-back currently. So once he goes, we need to bring in a few squad players just to fill some gaps, like a backup left-back, a backup striker, a backup right-back. There's a few positions that could do with strengthening, but that £10 million can go a long way, and obviously you'll see how we spend it, assuming we get it, in tomorrow's episode. But we're under a little bit of pressure here from Norwich. If they score again now, we're always a little bit vulnerable because we're just not very good at defending. Defending's for nerds. Forget your goal line technology. Goodness me, what do you think this is? Right. Final substitutions. Illing's going to come off. Mason Clark on for him. That's an easy change. And then we'll do that there. And that is 5 substitutions made. Burnley are they're drawing. Burnley are now winning against West Brom, so we jump over West Brom. I mean, it does actually leave us 5 points outside of the automatic promotion like we were at the start of the match rather than 3, but does move us up to third place. So I guess, like I say, they couldn't both win. Scarlett has had another goal. He's had 2 goals ruled out today. There's the confirmation of the Burnley goal just going through now. We'll just take the full-time whistle in all matches now, ref. I assume if he blows his whistle, it ends all the games. I think that's how it works. And there you go, a nice little 4-1 win. If only we'd have got one of those goals in the Wolves match, it would have been a much more positive episode. But you know what? We're up to third in the league. We've got potential juicy transfers to come. I think things are looking very bright for Coventry's push for a return to the Premier League for the first time since, goodness me, nearly 30 years. And they were there forever. Well, it looks like, in fact, to be fair, it looks like they have 30 years in, 30 years out. So we're due a return. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.